Hi, Mary. How are you?
Good, Tanya. How are you?
Thanks so much, Mary. Was a very, very emotional ceremony. President Obama bringing the crowd to their feet. Can you give us some more color?
Of course, you mentioned some of those in the audience and the congregation that were openly weeping and crying. This was an incredibly emotional speech in an emotional setting. Members of the congregation were standing, weeping, openly crying when the president was speaking about the victims, about the three runners and members of the audience, the bystanders who were killed during this tragedy. What we really heard from the president was him taking on the role of consoler-in-chief today. This was a very personal speech from him. He talked about offering his prayers and support for the people of Boston, but also speaking, about resolve, that there's a certain commonality that all Americans feel for Boston right now. He said, every American stands with you, that Boston is all of our city. And we mentioned also those victims and the first responders that he talked about. He's going to be meeting with some of them today, and this is something that he does often when he visits a community after a tragedy. He likes to deliver personal public remarks, but also to meet one-on-one with those who have been most impacted and affected by the tragedy. And finally, we did hear the president talk about bringing to justice those people that were behind this, and we just got that update from Taman about the progress there, but this manhunt very much continues, and he vowed once again that this nation will bring to justice those who perpetrated this attack. But this speech wasn't about the investigation. This was a speech about him offering his personal support for the people of Boston and talking about how we will continue, and as he said, that we will once again run again.
And obviously, Mary, talking to a crowd where emotions are still very raw. We saw one of the choir singers, we just had her picture up there again, actually weeping, openly crying at the ceremony. Clearly, this is a city still healing, still in a lot of pain.
Absolutely. This is very fresh. This is, as you mentioned, I think we're just over 2 days from this. This is only Thursday. This happened on Monday. This is a community that is very much coming to terms with this. And that's why it was, I think, particularly important to the president and to this administration that they go and that he can speak directly to the city of Boston, to those grieving, but also to all Americans.
And now we understand that the president and the first lady will now go on to meet with the families of the victims from here.
Yes, that's right. He's going to go and spend some time. I think he has about 2 more hours in the city. We don't know exactly where and when these meetings are happening, but he is going to spend some time meeting one-on-one with them, talking with the victims, the runners, those first responders, those other runners who rushed to aid their fellow runners just moments after these attacks. He wants to talk personally with them as well.
And it seems that just Crystal Campbell's family was present at the ceremony, correct? None of the other victims' relatives.
That is correct. But several of those who were also injured as well, not just Crystal Campbell's family, but also some of the others that were injured.
And there were many marathoners who were visible in their jackets as well in the crowd.
That's right. Yes, we saw it was sort of a nice sign of solidarity, really, from a lot of these runners showing up, wearing their running gear, ready to show their support. But as you mentioned, this is obviously very, very fresh and very raw for all of them as well.
And obviously security very, very tight there. This was a city that has, as we understand, 1, possibly 2 suspects on the loose still, and the president is in town, so obviously everyone is still very much on edge.
Absolutely. I think, the city obviously has heightened security, as do many cities. I'm standing just steps away from Pennsylvania Avenue that's still shut down in front of the White House, so there's a certain amount of heightened security just in the aftermath of these blasts, but also with the president there, of course, that adds an extra additional layer of security for his presence.
Absolutely. All right, ABC's Mary Bruce at the White House, thank you so much.